Dela writes, my MVVs, welcome. Now, Queen Naomi's portrait allegedly stirs controversy in Ooni of Ife's palace when Israel's ambassador visited. They said Ooni of Ife chose to give Queen Naomi's gift to the Israeli ambassador over that of Ebony. And here is the reason, okay? If you have been following the trend of events, the Israeli ambassador visited the Ooni of Ife in the palace of the Ooni of Ife. And he was so warmly received and all of that. Now, remember that Ooni of Ife had initially thought that this thing with Queen Naomi's ritual will be over and done with. And, you know, they will have the opportunity to begin to be seen in public, as in people will see them. And Naomi will also be able to sit by his side again as his Olori, right? But unfortunately, due to politics in the palace, they made it like they frustrated it a whole lot when they started insisting that they started insisting that this ritual must be done in the in the Odua traditional forest, okay? And so now during that time, they said this Israeli ambassador's thing, Ooni of Ife was aware of it from earlier in the year, okay? And so Naomi was supposed to be there with him. Now, because Naomi was supposed to be there with him, they were thinking that things would have been okay and everything would have been okay by now. Because even though there is a case pending in court, if the ritual had been done, Naomi would have had an opportunity to be going out with her husband and all of that while they wait for that case to be finished. So Naomi was informed and Naomi made provision for the gift that Ooni of Ife will be presenting to the ambassador, that is the Israeli ambassador, okay? Now, they said, as we heard, though, if the information is true, they said the Ooni of Ife gifted the Israeli people or the Israeli ambassador 2 paintings with heavy significance, okay? They say one of the painting belonged to Olori Naomi, and it was Naomi who made provision for that painting. And she took time, it took her over a month to finish that painting. And the second one was coming directly from the Odua Council of Chiefs, the 2 paintings that Ooni presented. Then there is another painting that Ebony had hurriedly sent somebody to go and buy. Because you do know that it was, I think 2 days ago that Ebony found out that she would be with the Ooni of Ife after Oletik rejected the offer, rejected that royal duty because of Christiana Adewale. So what Ebony did was Ebony hurriedly went to buy a painting, a traditional painting for the event. Now, why is there a problem? They said Ebony cried, screamed, slammed her painting after the event on the ground and scattered it. And she chanted marginalization, favoritism from the part of the Ooni of Ife again. Because Ooni of Ife chose to give the other painting that belonged to Queen Naomi to the Israeli ambassador as a first gift, and leaving Ebony's painting. And they said it was even later that Ebony found out that the painting, those paintings that Ooni of Ife had gifted to the ambassador, one of them was given by Olori Naomi. Now, as we are hearing it, the portrait that the Ooni of Ife presented to Israeli ambassador during his visit to the palace is symbolic on multiple levels, okay? In Yoruba tradition and culture, gifting a portrait, especially one crafted with cultural or historical significance, is a sign of honor, goodwill, and diplomacy, right? And so what we heard if the information is true, is that it took Naomi about a period of 1 month to prepare this painting for this event, because she was also hoping that she will be there with the Ooni of Ife so they can present this to the Israeli ambassador. But unfortunately, it didn't happen because her ritual has been delayed, and up till now, it's just one that has just recently been finished. But before that, yesterday, they said Naomi took time to script out the significance of the portrait that she had presented to the Ooni of Ife to present to the Israeli ambassador. Now, they said the Ooni of Ife carefully, presented that painting, including everything that Naomi had scripted out to him as the significance of the painting that she gifted Ooni to give to the Israeli ambassador. They said Naomi scripted that one of the colors and something, a symbol there, was of friendship and diplomatic ties. The portrait served as a token of mutual respect between the kingdom of Ile-Ife and Israel, reinforcing diplomatic and cultural ties. The Ooni of Ife, as a foremost traditional ruler, plays a significant role in fostering international relations between, beyond politics, okay? Now, the second point she scripted out was cultural and historical connection. The Yoruba people have long-standing oral tradition and historical narrative that suggests link to ancient civilization, including possible ties to Israel. This gesture could be interpreted as a recognition of shared ancestral or cultural connection, okay? That was Naomi, what Naomi scripted. Though. Now, the third point that Naomi scripted, okay, the significance of that painting, that first painting that they presented to the Israeli ambassador, was recognition of Israel's influence and collaboration. The Israeli government has engaged in partnership with Nigeria, especially in areas like agriculture, technology, and education. The presentation of the portrait might, okay, they said the presentation of the portrait symbolizes, appreciation for Israel's contribution and its desire for stronger cooperation. That was the thought. And then the fourth, she scripted royal gesture of blessing and authority. In Yoruba culture, a gift from a king carries spiritual significance. The portrait, possibly depicting Ife's rich heritage, could be seen as a blessing and an invitation for, future collaboration. Now, tell me, if not that, jealousy has eaten into the mind of Ebony. A person who prepared a painting for an event, and the person is so organized, and the person scripted out the significance of that painting from point A to point B, point C to point D, and making it easy for the Ooni of Ife to, explain or be explicit about the significance of the painting. And a person who just enters a painting shop or a market or a traditional market to buy a painting for you to give to your guests, whose own will you take? Whose own will you present? And they said that was how Ooni of Ife presented that of Olori Naomi, singing out the significance of that painting, spelling it clearly to them, and all of that, which made the presentation obviously very rich and all of that. And then the second painting was that of the Council of Chiefs that was presented, Council of Elders that was presented to the Israeli ambassador. Now, after all of this is done, Ebony, they said she cried and cried and cried. She slammed her painting on the ground. She talked about marginalization, favoritism, everything. Naomi is everything. Everything Naomi does is correct. Nobody can see anything wrong with Naomi. Her painting is the best. Her everything, her character, everything is the best. And that she is indeed tired and she slammed that painting on the ground. That is her own, the one that was not presented, and scattered it on the floor. And they said it was a big drama that happened in the palace of the Ooni of Ife. Do not forget that the following content is based on publicly available information and creative interpretation, may not be fully factual. I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you.